Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Strengthjournal Series. Today I'm taking you with me on my shoulders and back day, and the first exercise that we are starting with is gonna be the handstand. Hope you enjoy. So just finished the handstand training, and handstands felt pretty good today. I got a lot of good holds and not too many fails, which is nice. And the way I'm structuring my handstand training at the moment is that I'm practicing 4 times a week. And in each session I start with a hollow body hold for 30 seconds, then I do a chest to wall handstand hold for 20 seconds, and then I start with the freestanding practice. And there I'm trying to accumulate a certain amount of hold time. So on a good day I would try to get 1 minute 30, and on a bad day 1 minute only. And yeah, and that's basically how I structure my current handstand training. And another thing that I like to personally do in my handstand training is to write down everything that I did in that session. So I'm writing down every hold that I got and how long I held it for, and all the fails. And in the end I also calculate the average hold time. And thereby I can just look at my notes and see if I made progress or not, and see how my handstand training is progressing. So as the first strength exercise for today, we are doing the floating pike push up. So the handstand push up consists of different parts, which we can either train individually or in sum. So we got the top part, which is basically just a freestanding handstand. We've got the lowering down phase, then we got the bent arm handstand phase at the bottom, and then we got the concentric phase, the pushing up back into a handstand. And the floating pike push up trains the eccentric part, so the lowering down phase into the bent arm handstand, and teaches us how to control that bottom position, which is important for the freestanding handstand push up. And the way I progressed this movement is that I basically just added reps and sets. So in the first week I did 3 sets of 3 repetitions. Then in the second week 4 sets of 3 repetitions, third week 5 sets of 3 repetitions, and this week I'm doing 3 sets again, but I'm adding a repetition. So now I'm doing 3 sets of 4. So yeah, that's basically how I progress this movement. And what I'm aiming for in this movement is to spend as much time as possible in that bottom bent arm handstand position and build control in that part. So up next we got the deficit chest to wall handstand push up. And whereas the floating pike push up was meant to specifically target that lowering down phase and the bottom part of the handstand push up, the chest to wall handstand push up is gonna mainly focus on building that overhead pushing strength through a full range of motion. We are doing them on a deficit, which is gonna make it harder. And here we are doing 3 sets of 3 to 5 repetitions. A very popular debate about the wall handstand push up is whether you should go tummy to wall or back to wall. So chest to wall handstand push up versus back to wall handstand push up. And in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. So I would advise you to just pick the variation that you like more. So for me personally, I like the chest to wall version more, but that's not because I think it's necessarily better for achieving the freestanding handstand push up. I basically just like it more, it feels better for me, and that's why I chose it. So some might argue that the chest to wall handstand push up replicates the freestanding handstand push up better than the back to wall handstand push up. But for me personally, I'm doing the wall handstand push up to just build that overhead pushing strength, which is needed for the freestanding handstand push up. So I don't think it matters that much if you choose back to wall or chest to wall. And you don't even have to choose, you can just basically also just switch through different variations and do that. So as the first back exercise, we got the closed grip chin up, and we're doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions here. So I'm doing the chin ups with my knees tucked, and there's basically there are 2 reasons why I'm doing this. Number 1, the bar is simply not high enough to do chin ups with extended legs. That's why I have to tuck them in. And the second reason is that this is actually a variation that targets your back muscles in a slightly different way. Because in a regular chin up pull-up, your spine is straight in a straight line, and your body builds a somewhat straight line. And in this variation, because we are tucking our knees, our spine is slightly flexed, and thereby we're getting a greater stretch on the legs. And as well, I'm choosing the chin up instead of a pull-up, because in a chin up our elbows are more tucked in, which means we get this elbow path, which basically just targets your legs in a different way. It's not better or worse than a regular pull-up grip like this, just a variation to target or to stimulate your lats in a different way. Comparable to doing a lat pull down in the gym with a bar like this, with an overhand grip, and doing a lat pull down with a handle which allows you to keep your hands more tucked, and which allows for a more tucked elbow path. So as the next exercise, we got the inverted row for 3 sets of 10 to 20 repetitions. And there isn't really much to say here. Going for control tempo, full stretch at the bottom, and then powerful concentric, trying to push our chest out, retract our shoulder blades as much as possible. And yeah, and a little tip: if you're doing inverted rows with your legs extended, try to place your feet against something sturdy so that they don't slip away while you're doing your rows. Because sometimes, at least for me, I find that if I don't put my feet against something sturdy, they will start slipping, which kind of throws off your focus on the exercise, at least a little bit. So it's just something that you might want to consider when you're doing your rows. So the last exercise of today is gonna be the dumbbell lateral raise for the side delts. And I'm doing 3 sets of 10 to 20 repetitions. I personally find that the lateral raise is one of the movements where it's crucial that you find a technique which allows you to feel the side delts the most. So there's gonna be people who feel the side delts more if they raise more in a Y formation, a little bit more in front of their body, instead of straight to the side. But it's also gonna be people who feel the side delts more if they raise out to their side. Same thing with your hand position. Some people like to have their thumbs more up, some people more to the front, and some people more downwards. So basically it just comes down to your personal preference and when you feel the muscle the most. For isolation exercise specifically, I think it's very important that you feel the muscle that you are trying to train. So isolation exercises are used to specifically stimulate one specific muscle group. So if you don't feel that muscle group while doing the exercise, well, that's not good. So first of all, pick exercises and the right technique for this exercise for you that allows you to feel the muscle the most. So the technique that I personally like to use on lateral raises is using a very controlled tempo for the eccentric, and even pausing a little bit at the top to really feel the contraction in the side delt. That's how I personally feel my side delts the most. Doesn't mean that this is gonna be the case for everybody, but for me personally, I find that this variation is the one that lets me feel the side delts the most. So this was the workout for today. Was a pretty good workout, and I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, please press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to watch some other strength journals or some other videos on this channel. And I will see you next time. Much love, and see you on level 100.